but I need to rant about my new neighbors. Welcome to my channel and Merry Christmas! I know Christmas is literally around the corner now, but I wanted to do another kind of Christmas themed inspirational video. So I have the 3 most recent Jeffree Star palettes that came out earlier this year, and I wanted to do a Christmas look with each palette. So if you guys don't have, like, say, the Conspiracy palette, or if you don't have the Jawbreaker palette, but you do have the Blue Blood palette, it can give you a little bit of like inspiration. It's not just like one palette that I'm doing all these looks with. And then also you can look at the colors that I'm using and you can be like, oh, I don't have that in the Jeffree Star palette, but I do have it in my Anastasia palette. So hopefully this video inspires you guys with some different Christmas looks that you can do for work or for a Christmas party or anything Christmas related. If you just want to do a Christmas look, have fun with it. Let's get on into this. So I'm going to prime my eyes with the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow primer. Jeffree Star needs to come out with an eyeshadow primer. That would be pretty awesome. Alright, so the first palette that we're going to be getting into, I'm going to work from the back. So the first palette is going to be the Blue Blood palette. We're going to do a nice icy blue look with this palette, and I have been loving this palette more recently than when it first came out. When it first came out, I loved like doing my videos and like 3 looks with this palette, and then afterwards when it kind of like died off, I was like whatever, and now I like ripped it out and I'm like, yes, I love this palette all over again. Another side note, I cleaned so many of my brushes. Some of them are still stained, but I cleaned a ton of my brushes off. So we're getting into the 3 looks with clean brushes. So the first color that I'm going to take is Blue Blood. And with this one, I'm just going to place it right in my crease. So what has been y'all's favorite like palettes for Christmas? I would love to know, like, is there like individual eyeshadows that you guys got to do Christmas looks, or like is there a single eyeshadow palette that you guys have been reaching for that you're like, oh yeah, this is my go-to Christmas looks? And then I'm gonna take the shade Cremated, nice kind of grayish blue shade, and I'm gonna put this on my outer corner with an eyeshadow brush to get the most pigment. Also, with speaking about Jeffree Star, what are y'all's thoughts on the Shane Dawson collection? I know there's still a few people that still haven't gotten their pre-order stuff yet. So what's up with y'all's shipping stuff going on? And then also I'm curious about y'all's shipping situation with the mystery boxes, because if you haven't seen my mystery box video, kind of spoke about how the shipping was really frustrating for me, but also a little bit better this time around. So if you haven't seen my mystery box video, I'll have that in the cards. And I'm also wearing the makeup that I'm doing. I'm pre-filming and this is all very confusing, but I'm going to go back in with Blue Blood and just blend out Cremated a little bit. And then I'm going to take Cremated very lightly and deepen up my crease. And then I'm going to take Cremated again and blend it under my lower lash line. So now I'm going to take the shade Ice Tray, and I'm going to use that shade Wet, and I'm going to put it right over this edge over here, kind of tapping it into Cremated so that it'll blend a little bit better. And then I'm going to take the shade Cullinan, which is Icy White, and I'm going to wet this shade as well. And I'm going to put this all over the front of my eyelid. And I'm also going to highlight my inner corner, get everything nice and icy. And then I'm going to take the shade Ocean Ice, which is like a glittery blue. And I'm going to take that shade and put it right underneath the front of my lower lash line. All right, and this is the end of the first look with the Blue Blood palette, and I finished it up with using the Jeffree Star lip gloss, the gloss in Ice Cold, because I thought this like filled in with that whole like iciness, and it does have a little bit of blue and pink in the lip gloss. So this is the first icy Christmas look. Now let's get on to the second look. All right, so now we're getting into the second look. With this look, I'm going to be using the Jawbreaker palette. Even though this palette looks like a total rainbow, there are some really good Christmas colors in here, like this red, this yellow shade, burgundy, pinky, red, yellow. There's a few colors that I can work with in here. There's obviously blues, but we just use the Blue Blood palette, so I'm going to try to steer away from the blues with this palette and try and stick with like more of the red shades. But I already have my eyes primed and I'm ready to get into this. All right, so the first shade I'm going to take is the shade Good Morning, and I'm just going to lightly put this in my crease just as a bit of a transition shade since we're doing kind of reddy pink shades. Now I'm going to take the shade Licorice. Ooh, this red. Oh man. I'm going to put this in the outer corner, and then I'm going to slowly start working it up into my outer V crease area. Alright, and while I'm doing this other eye, I need to have a little mini rant. I don't know if any of you guys have like horrible neighbors, but I need to rant about my new neighbors. So we got these new neighbors. They live in like a house next to us. I'm not gonna go into like too much detail. I haven't met these people in person yet, but I have dogs, as you guys know, and they have 4 dogs. I have 2 dogs, and these people, I swear, do not give two you know what about their dogs. And it's been driving me crazy. So the first thing that I noticed was that they were leaving their dogs outside in whatever weather all day long. All day long by themselves. And at first I was like, oh, whatever. Like, they're moving. I understand. And then a couple days after that, 2 of their dogs escaped out into the yard. And one of their dogs is pretty aggressive, very territorial, which doesn't really bother me because I've had dogs my whole life. I know how to like handle pretty aggressive dogs. And I made a mistake of going and knocking on the door to see if anyone's home. The aggressive dog like ran over and started like really barking at me, and I was like, all right, whatever, I'm just gonna walk away. I'm not even gonna look at this dog. I'm not gonna pay it any attention. I'm gonna take the shade Sour. I'm gonna put this in the very inner corner. That happened, and so no one was going up to the door. No one knew where their dogs were. When I went to go to look in their house, to like knock on the door, see if anyone was home, I noticed that they had 2 other dogs that were inside of the house. And I was like, okay, so that's cool. I'm like, maybe they're too busy like moving. Maybe they have like headphones on, whatever. So we wrote them a note, put it on their front doorstep to say like, hey, your dogs got out. We went and we somehow like crowded or like lured them into the backyard. And we told them that. And they picked up the note and didn't care at all. And on another side note of this story, I have 2 dogs, and me and my boyfriend were outside. My dogs could have gotten attacked, me and him could have gotten attacked, and my other neighbors that we really do like have 2 smaller children that play outside all the time, and they ran outside while these dogs are outside running around. We don't know what these dogs are going to do. I don't want anyone to get hurt. So it's a big liability for everyone involved if like this dog gets out. So I'm really concerned about this. They don't care about the note. Of course, whatever. And then now I'm going to take the shade Raspberry, and I'm going to start deepening up the outer corner with this. And today I've been working on my computer earlier this morning, and these freaking dog started tearing up the whole fence. And so I go out there and I notice that there's a piece of wood that, so like our fence is kind of like the ground is eroded. And so there's like pieces of like 2x4s that are underneath the fence that kind of like keep the dogs from getting at each other. And I noticed that one of those boards was moved. And so I was trying to pull one of the like 2x4s out from underneath the fence, being like pretty careful that like this dog could like freak out and bite me. And the dog put its nose underneath the fence, and I noticed that this dog's nose and like whole front part of its mouth was covered in blood. And so as someone who has dogs, I naturally just like freaked out, and I'm wearing my Eeyore onesie and it's like 30 degrees outside. This really pisses me off. All right, I'm gonna take the shade Snack. I'm gonna use it wet. So I march up to their front door and I'm like super concerned. I'm like, oh my gosh, like their dog is bleeding. I don't know where the heck it's bleeding from. Holy crap, oh my God. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like banging on their door and their cars are there. And it's not like super early in the morning, so I'm not like expecting them to be asleep unless they're planning on sleeping until like 12. Like, so I'm sitting there and I'm like banging on the door. No one comes to the door. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, maybe I'll try again in a little bit. So I come back inside. I try to finish doing my work. And I'm like so irritated at the fact that like their dog is bleeding. And like no one has gone and checked on their dogs yet. Like they're still outside. So I went back over to their house and started knocking again. And I'm like, well, obviously they're not gonna care about a note like last time. So I've been trying to get a hold of my new neighbors to tell them that their dog is bleeding and they don't care. And it really is starting to like upset me. And this might be a new thing on my channel of like me ranting about my neighbors, but like I feel like everyone has bad neighbors at one point in their lives. So if you have bad neighbors, please give me advice on this, because this is our first house, and before then we lived in an apartment. And then I'm gonna take the shade Jawbreaker and I'm gonna use this wet as well. But I just needed to vent about this whole thing because I just really don't know what to do. I've tried to go and like introduce myself, and like no one seems to like want to talk to anybody. And my other neighbors that I do get along with, they don't like them either. They've tried to go and talk to them, and like even I have another pair of neighbors, they don't like them. So it's starting to turn into like a little dilemma in our neighborhood with these people's dogs, because everyone in this neighborhood pretty much has at least one dog. And with these people leaving their dog outside, it's just constantly barking. It's stressed out. It's in a weird new environment. I understand that, but like, you know, I don't want anyone to get hurt. I'm trying to get this on the nice level, and it's not working out for me. So I've decided to rant about it because I don't know their names. I don't know who they are. I've never met them, but this whole situation is getting like weirdly out of control. And the fact that there's already been like 2 incidents and they haven't even really lived here for like a month, I'm like, come on, are you serious? And then I'm gonna take the shade Licorice again, and I'm gonna start blending it under my lower lash line. Point of the story, I'm literally just ranting, but if you guys have any advice on neighbors and situations like this, I would greatly appreciate it. Because at this point, I don't really know what to do. I'm like, so frustrated. And then I'm gonna take the shade Sour again. I'm gonna put this in the lower front of my lower lash line. But I will say it definitely feels a lot better to just rant all of that out, and just now I can finally like put it in the back of my mind and do a look that I want to do and have fun with makeup, because this is what it's all about. But you know, life happens. And then I'm gonna take orange juice, which is the shimmery orange. I'm gonna put a little tiny bit of this in the inner corner. And then I'm gonna take the shade Jawbreaker, and I'm gonna go right over orange juice, kind of lighten it up. All right, and this is the finished second look. I used the lipstick Poinsettia by Jeffree Star. I've been trying to tell which one I like better, Poinsettia or the mystery shade that was in the mystery boxes, and I can't really tell, but this one definitely has a little bit more of like a plummy look to it instead of a true red. It is very much like a poinsettia, but I really do like the way that this look came out. It still kind of shows like this is the Jawbreaker palette in a way, but it's still Christmassy at the same time. This is the finished look, and now let's get into the third and final look. All right, now we're getting into the third look with the Conspiracy palette. This palette does have some green, some red, silver, so I might be leaning a bit towards these shades. I do want to use the black a little bit and really like do a smoky look, because the other looks weren't that smoky in my opinion. But I already got my eyes primed, and I am ready to get into this final look. All right, so the first shade I'm going to take is actually going to be Tanacon, and I'm going to put this one in my crease as a transition again. I absolutely love this palette. You can tell how much I love this palette because like a lot of the stamps are pretty much almost gone. And then I'm going to take the shade Flamin' Hot, and I'm going to put this in my outer corner, and I'm also going to put it in my inner corner as well. And then once I got these colors kind of placed where I want them to be, I'm just going to start blending them up into the crease, but I'm gonna avoid the center of my lid. Blending, blending, blending. Ooh, can you guys believe that Christmas is literally around the corner? I don't know what it is. Every year, it's like I get so excited for Christmas and my birthday, and then I'm like, my birthday passes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's a week until Christmas. What the heck? Every freaking year. Every year. I never get over it. And then while I'm at it, I'm also gonna put a bit of Flamin' Hot under my lash line. And then I'm gonna be really careful, but I'm gonna take my Rides here, which is the black, and I'm just gonna take a little bit at a time and start deepening up the red in the outer corner and in the inner corner. Ooh, I have to be so careful with this. This can get really ugly really fast. And then I'm gonna be super duper careful and just do like right in the inner corner. And then I'm gonna take my Rides here again, and I'm gonna take it on the tip of a pencil brush and run it right up against my lower lash line. And then I'm gonna go back in with Flamin' Hot and just go over all of that black and tone it down and blend it out. All right, I think I got this all where I want it to be. Now I'm gonna take the shade Illuminati, and I'm gonna take it with my finger and put it over pretty much my entire lid. And then whatever is kind of like left over on my finger, I'm just kind of tapping it really lightly up here in like my crease area. And then I'm gonna take the shade Just a Theory on a blending brush. I'm gonna pick up a little bit and run it in between that like gap right there. And I'm also gonna highlight my brow bone with that shade. And then I'm also gonna highlight my inner corner with that shade as well. I'm gonna take the shade Diet Cola, and I'm gonna take this on my finger as well and lightly tap it in the center of Illuminati and leading up to the other center, like a very wet, grungy look. All right, and this is the end of the third look. I put on the Shane Dawson X Jeffree Star liquid lipstick in Are You Filming? And I actually really like how this look came out. It's a little bit more grungier, more of that like euphoria type makeup, but a little bit more wearable. But let me know which of the looks with the palettes you like the most out of these 3 looks. Also, I would love to know which Jeffree Star palettes you do have, and if this helped you create any Christmas looks for this year. But I do want to do this again next year using all of my Jeffree Star palettes, like the 3 most recent ones, to get like Christmas inspired looks at the end of the year, because it really helps me bring out palettes a little bit more, because especially with YouTube, I'm always trying to do like the most recent best blah 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 top notch, like this thing came out, this thing came out, and even though it only came out like a month ago, it gets to be that like thing where I'm filming, and then I just kind of leave it in the back. And then with these kind of videos, it's fun because I can get these palettes out and I can be like, oh look, you can do this look with it, and it helps people and me pull out my palettes. But I'd love to know which palettes you have, which looks were your favorite, what your plans are for Christmas, whether it be Christmas parties or actual Christmas. I'd love to know. Give me some advice on these horrible neighbors situation that I'm dealing with. Anything would help. But this is it for this video. If you haven't seen my Jeffree Star Christmas mystery unboxing, definitely check that video out. And I did another video where I tried everything out, but that video will be right here where I unbox all of them, and then this video will be suggested to you by YouTube, and my face will be right here, and you click on it and subscribe to my channel.